Disclaimer: all views expressed on What Makes Us Fire are solely those of the person or persons giving them. What Makes Us Fire does not represent or claim to represent any particular city or fire department, and therefore make the claim that all views and standpoints are affiliated with What Makes Us Fire and with What Makes Us Fire only. Any mention of certain fire departments or cities within the interviews are solely for informational and opinion-based dialogue. In short, if you have a problem with what's published, just say something about it and don't be a Richard. Hey, what's up, What Makes Us Fire family? This is Josh, your host of the What Makes Us Fire podcast. Today, we have a very special guest, my bro boo, my friend, John, host of the Really Good Show. John and I met, about a month or two ago, and we have found that we kind of have a lot in common, minus our style. You'll see what I'm talking about. But him and I have created things that we try to uplift people. We turn our struggle and the things that we have dealt with and continue to deal with in our lives. We found a way to turn it into something useful. We found a way to turn it into something more than just the struggle. John's an amazing human being, y'all. I can't wait till you hear his story. First part of the episode, we get a little bit deep into style, kind of get a little philosophical on how and where it comes from. But then we get a little bit deeper, and I hope you enjoy it. What Makes Us Fire family? Please welcome my bro boo, my friend, John.
I don't know. I guess do you want to start like this?
Yeah, we can start like this. I mean, so usually like I do it, I'm like, hey, I don't know how we're going to, this is a dual podcast. So
all right, so let's cut in the intro.
Go for it.
And then we'll start it up like this, and we'll get back to the MPO.
Okay. What is up? What Makes Us Fire family? Today we have John, my boy from the Really Good Show. I like to always put an extra really because you are that good, brother. But it is just the Really Good Show. I like to say the really, really good show.
So we are now partner co-host for this special edition of the What Makes Us Fire podcast and the Really Good Show, John Meets World segment.
That's very, very true. And I don't have segments on my show. I just have special people, special guests. There is no time limit. So if you have a time limit and you need to cut it short, let me know. However, mine,
I am free and clear to go. I've set away this time slot. You already know I'm a sneakerhead. So my only directive today was to wake up at 10 a.m. my time and get some damn sneakers, and thankfully I passed through on one of the sites and I got them, so I am happy. And that was literally the list of things to do today. It was
out of all your vices, John, your sneakers are probably the one that just doesn't make sense to me.
Okay, so I don't have many vices in this world,
right,
at all anymore. Like literally nothing. It's literally just my kicks and maybe video games because I've always been a gamer.
What system you use? Before you go on, what system you use?
I'm on PS4 for now.
Whatever.
For now. Wait, are you a gamer at all?
Yeah, man. I play right now. It is it Warzone?
Warzone. Are you playing Call of Duty? Nice.
Yeah, Warzone. I don't have the Modern Warfare yet. I don't have the
actual game. Yeah. So I'm on Cold War right now.
That's the new one. Yeah, Cold War. Yeah. I play Warzone. Anyway, sorry. Kicks and video games, brother. I'm sorry.
It's fine. So what system are you on? Are you on PC or?
No, Xbox.
Okay, so
it's cross-platform. We can still technically
exactly. So they kind of, it's one of my favorite things that they've done with that, which was eliminate the bickering back and forth of Xbox, PS4, which one's better. Fuck it. It's all video games. It's all for your enjoyment, and whatever freaking system you have fun on, whether it's a console or a PC, Just have fun and stop being a
It
dick about it.
it's all that until you find a team that's nothing but PC and they fucking obliterate you immediately. I
Yeah,
don't know what it because
that's
PCs just have faster processors.
yes,
They're always
yes.
better. So you know when a team is all PC because you're like,
Yeah.
I didn't hit them once. I don't know how
Yeah,
that happened.
yeah, I know what you mean. I run into a couple of lobbies where I see all PC, and I'm just like, "Yep, we're gonna back out of this lobby," because I play a lot of hardcore team deathmatch and a
Okay,
lot
I
and a
see.
lot of domination and shit.
No, I don't do the multiplayer. I just play
Yeah, the
the
open world
Warzone,
Warzone.
yeah, the
Yeah,
overworld stuff like that.
that's the battle royale aspect, which is fun. I played it. I played it a bunch. My little cousin Vic is nice at that shit. Like I be trying to keep up with him, and he's a beast. But
Well, maybe I should start playing with him instead of you.
yeah, definitely. But if you're gonna be playing Warzone, he's your guy for sure, for sure.
Awesome.
If you're looking for somebody that's gonna help you win, I'm gonna be looking at the sky and be like, oh, look at these graphics. This is nice.
Well, since you are a gamer, are you going to look into getting the new systems or anything like that?
Yeah, I'm gonna wait a little bit on the PS5. I know because there's such a high demand for it right now. So not only are they out of stock everywhere,
Right.
but if you go to get a resale, they're hiking up the price to like 1100, and I just don't think that's a feasible thing. I mean, not to say that I couldn't do it, but I just don't think it's realistic or necessary.
Well, especially with the first editions coming out. Everybody knows what happens when you have a first edition come out, unless it's sneakers, unless it's sneakers.
Yeah.
But like anything electronic, be it TVs, game consoles,
Yes.
computers,
Yes.
the bugs have to be worked out for that first edition to come out, and then
I
when they
actually have
revise
a
it. So,
rule. I have a rule about electronics when it comes to that. I never guinea pig the first edition. I never do it. I did it once with the with the Xbox 360. I
mhm.
got that one launch, and literally within 30 days, rings of death.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I got resent another Xbox 360 because it got the rings of death. They know it was a known issue, so they were resending you new ones. 20 days later, rings of death on the one they resent me.
That's ridiculous.
And then I finally got a hold of another one. They resent me another one. That one worked fine. And then the power brick went. And so I got the 360 Elite, the black one.
Right.
And that one lasted quite a while. And and eventually also burned out. Apparently they can't handle the amount of hours that I was willing to play. I think
No,
that I think
so
that's what it was.
so for me though, the video game, I mean, we're talking about those are our vices, right?
Hmm.
Video games is one of my vices. It used to be a larger vice until as of recently doing the podcast,
Right.
starting the nonprofit, and it's just been way busy. But
Yeah.
when I do find that downtime, the thing about the video games is for me having ADHD, it allows me to hyper focus on that one thing and my anxiety just kind of lifts off of me because I'm not worrying about all the other things in my head. Right now, I'm just focusing on playing the game and having fun and shooting that person and looking for that person and whatever the hell it is. I'm able to
Right.
just focus on the game and it allows me to kind of just reset, which is weird. Going into a virtual world on a video game is helping bring me back down to the real world and realizing, hey, it's okay. You got time. Relax. Let the
Yeah.
anxiety.
Yeah,
It's
I
hard to
mean,
explain.
it's not really because basically, essentially, what you're talking about is a distraction because you know the real world has high anxiety, high stress levels, as is almost everybody's life, you know,
Yeah,
that is on the
my
ground
world
up.
has those things. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So like
Exactly.
I think the fair assessment to say is that we all go through our shit, and you know, there's also stressors in life, whether it's, you know, significant others, kids, work, whatever have you. But I think the majority of it, you need something as a bit of an escape. And this is, you know, as long as you're not, you know, shucking your responsibilities to play video games, I think essentially it's a really good outlet for stress because, like, you know, you're going into like games like Call of Duty, which is high intensity. There's also like a very, very intense level to it where you need to be all in, you need to be super focused. And when you get hyper focused on something, it allows you to block everything else out
Yep.
just for that simple moment. And I think in that, it's probably one of my favorite vices, probably one of my healthiest outlets, knowing that, you know, I come from a background of a lot of drinking and substance abuse. Knowing that I don't do any of that stuff anymore, I think this has been a really, really good outlet for me.
Yeah, but at the same time, especially for somebody that has a history like yours with addictive personality disorder, let's call it
Hmm.
what it was. We can
Hmm.
call it alcoholism, we can call it anything else, and those are true, but they
Hmm.
stem from an addictive personality disorder. Addiction,
Hmm.
that's the disease.
Which brings me forward to the sneakers.
This right, the
All right,
sneakers, right?
so
So,
now I'll explain out the sneakers for you. Um, so hip hop culture has always been a big thing in New York.
hmm.
Um, it's literally the birthplace of hip hop. So,
What part of New York are you from?
well, I'm from Brooklyn.
Oh, okay, well, yeah, that's huge.
Yeah,
That's a huge part.
so I'm from Brooklyn. Hip hop originated in the Bronx, but when we talk about hip hop culture as a whole, it really does stem specifically from New York.
Hmm.
The five boroughs, you know, you got Staten Island, you know, Brooklyn, Queens, Bronx, Manhattan. So those specific places are where it originated and where it's gotten so much intertwined with day-to-day life. Like with different things, like when it comes to, you know, the way people dress, like a lot of us are wearing hats all the time, and it doesn't matter whether they're your favorite sports team or not. Like it's an understood rule in New York, like it's not about your favorite sports team, it's about what matches your kicks. So like it's about getting your stuff accessorized and getting yourself coordinated. As you can see, I'm rocking my Rebel Heart shirt. It's a wrestling shirt. I got it for my baby girl when she was about to be born, and I knew she was gonna have to go to surgery. So I bought it, you know, just like in like support of my daughter. Um,
Right.
and the wrestler is like one of my favorites too, is Johnny Gargano. I'm a huge wrestling mark, and that's another one of my vices. I love wrestling.
So
Um,
I fell out of wrestling.
mm,
Mine is like back early '90s. That's Mankind, The Undertaker,
yeah, the Attitude
uh,
Era. Yeah,
Kane, uh, you know, the
absolutely.
NWO,
Yeah,
all those things.
yeah, which
That
was a
was a
really
huge
fun
vibe.
time.
Yeah,
That was
it
a
was.
Yeah,
It was
that
a
was a
great time.
it
We
was
keep overlapping each other.
it's weird. Yeah, no, it's fine. It's weird that, you know, like when you think about the multitude of entertainment at that time, so many people were all gravitated to wrestling, and then you had like guys like Carl Malone and Dennis Rodman and all these people actually showing up on wrestling, which made it a little more mainstream.
Donald Trump.
Oh yeah.
Holy
Well, I
crap.
mean,
He was in there. Like,
Donald Trump, funnily enough, Donald Trump actually hosted the very first WrestleMania. That was in his spot in
right.
Atlantic
And
City.
then that's right. In Atlantic City. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
that was
crazy.
his
It's
first
crazy.
spot. Yeah, that was his first spot. And I think,
Whatever you think of the guy, he's always been a real big philanthropist, and he's always helped a lot of different things. Whatever you think about his policies, we're not going to get into politics, but
yeah, no. I mean,
like,
look, I don't care what side of the fence you sit on, just be a decent human being when it
that's
comes
all
to
you
that.
got to be.
Yeah.
And you can disagree respectfully. I don't know where it got lost. I don't know where it got lost that if somebody doesn't share your opinion or idea, that you have to hate them. Where did that idea come from? I have no idea. It doesn't make sense to me. That's the whole reason why being a human being and being in this country specifically is such a great thing, because we're allowed to express a different point of view in hopes that maybe you didn't think of it that way, or give you a different idea, or give you an idea about something you've never heard of. You just had an idea of. That's what makes this country great, is that we're allowed to disagree and hear each other's opinions, as different as they may be, and still hopefully find some common ground to where we can give and take a little bit. That
When
and
you when
there's
you go back into the video of this, you're gonna see me going, yes, and fucking right. Like while you're talking, I'm pointing, I'm like, yes, oh my God, yes, like fucking yes. why is it such a far gone conclusion that you have to dislike somebody just because they don't agree with you? I never understood that. Even as like, I've always been really logical.
Mm-hmm.
So even as a kid, I never understood not being able to hear the other person's side. Like, it's a conversation for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
So in a conversation, you're going to find some things in a perspective that you didn't necessarily see or, slash agree with. And that's what makes the uniqueness of that interaction. It
Right.
does take two to tango. And in those interactions, it could be a little more civil if people just stop being such dicks to each other.
Not only that, not only is it going to take people to let their ego go about their idea, in that their idea is quote unquote better,
Hmm.
right? That's the ego. My idea is better, so I'm not going to listen to you. But I think
Hmm.
really, where it really, really, really stems down to is that people forgot how to actually communicate.
Yes.
They weren't taught how to communicate.
Agreed.
I had that issue too. I'm not even going to lie. I had to learn how to communicate right. With communication, there is a sender, a receiver. The receiver has to process that information. And then after they process the information, uh, they send a message back in hopes that the first message was understood.
Hmm.
And then if it's not, the other person listens. The receiver has to listen. We're forgetting to listen. We're forgetting to listen.
Exactly. And I
We
think,
just we hear something, we respond. We don't listen.
yeah,
We're
I think that's a very, very fair assessment of that. And it's in those listening things. Like I talked about that on a daily motivations. For you guys that don't know, me and Josh actually met on TikTok through someone that I helped start her self-love journey. She plugged me to Josh, said, look, you're a great guy. I
Do
know a
you want to
really
say her name?
uh we'll hold off on that just in
Okay.
case. Well,
Okay.
actually, I think I have spoken
She's
about her on the
yeah,
podcast
she's
before.
on social
So
media and you've spoken about her before.
yeah, I think I have. She was in an episode before. My friend Renee. So
Yeah, Renee.
I think I have mentioned Renee before. But anyway, damn, I lost my train of thought.
we
Oh
met
yeah,
through Renee.
so
Yeah.
right. So she put me on. She was like, I know this guy who also does a podcast. Really good guy. He's about positivity, and he's pretty down to earth. She's like, I think you guys will get along. And here we are, and it's absolutely the case. When we first met, like, we just started talking, and I hopped into your live, you hopped into my live streams, and we just kind of had this like really, really close bromance going on. It's been a
It
lot
was
of fun.
Yeah, it's been a natural flow, really.
It really
It
has,
hasn't
though.
been forced. It really has. It wasn't like I was trying to hop in your lives and trying to get you to see me or trying to get you to
Yeah, it
interact or
was
anything
just,
like that,
well,
or vice versa.
I think that in comes with the natural, energy that we bring to the table, where we both understand the gravity of hearing someone else, of
Hmm.
seeing someone else and making them feel heard and present within your energy. And you made it really easy to connect with people. As have I. Like, we have this vibe about us that kind of, makes it such a unique organic fit. And circling back to the vices, how you're saying you don't understand the sneaker thing.
Yeah, I
um
don't know. Well, because all my cousins,
mm,
I grew up in El Paso.
mm,
All my cousins, very similar, different culture, obviously, but very similar ideas. And I mean, if you met my family, you would fit right. You look like a cousin. You look like one of my cousins. You got a little bit darker skin. You wear the flat brim hat. You're all about the kicks. You listen to hip hop. Yeah, you would fit into my family like no problem.
so with that is, when I was younger, that was such a big thing, right? So like, it was Jordan was actually playing, he was on the rise, he was like this big figurehead in sports, and he came out with these unique sneakers, and they looked different than everything else that was on the market. It didn't
Hmm.
matter where it came from, it looked different from everything else. And then his greatness is what made them so popular. For me, and I've always said this, I don't care if they were from a dollar store. If they were this design, because I don't get every single sneaker that he puts out. I'm not that much into it. So I wear what I like. I don't care if it came from a dollar store. If that design came from some bootleg place, because of how they look, I would wear them only because I like the design. So I really do rock what I like. I'm not the sneaker collector who holds on to them and puts them in a mantle and never opens them. It's like, don't even look at them. You
That
know,
that's
like,
that's exactly what I was going to say. Thank God you actually purchased them to wear them, to
no,
use them.
I literally wear all my kicks. I have over 50 at this point. I wear every single one of them. I mean, I have a heavy rotation, so they don't all get worn, you know, in a week. But I do cycle through them, and whatever I feel like wearing for the day, I'll pull out stuff. When I feel like I haven't had one on in a while, I'll go and I'll grab them out and be like, oh yeah, that's right, I forgot I had these. These are awesome. Wearing these, and that's what I do.
Man, so fucking different from me. Like you don't even
Well,
understand. I've had
but
these pair
that's
of boots. I've had these pair of boots right here for
mhm,
5 years. I wear them anywhere between 3 to 5 days during the week. I have my work boots, and then I have dress shoes that I wear for special occasions.
mhm.
And all of my shoes, like these boots, I picked out. My work boots, I picked out. Everything else was a gift, either from my wife or a family member.
Mhm.
Yeah, I need new shoes. All right, well, we're gonna buy you some shoes. All right, cool. And man, and that's it. Like, and even my clothes, man. I don't even buy clothes for myself, to be honest with you. Most of my clothes are gifts or whatever. Like they know what I like, so they go buy stuff, or they think it'll look good on me, so they'll buy me something to wear, and I'll wear it. And I'm okay, whatever. To me, it's just clothes. As long as I can make it look good and I don't feel like I look less than what I am, then I'm
Yeah.
good. But I'm very simple, man.
Well,
I
that's my
wear.
thing. Like, I think the most extravagant thing about me is probably the sneakers. I think that would be it because I do get hats, and you can see this one now. It's a pretty unique style, but
Mhm.
like when it comes down to it, I wear regular tees, I wear jeans, I wear sweats. You know, like I dress pretty normal all in all. I can, you know, kick it up a notch. You do see
Oh, you clean up nice, brother. You
yeah,
clean up nice.
you see in the work uniform. I do go live every now and again when I'm at the desk and I have some downtime, but like I can switch it up. I have dress shoes, like I have a multitude of things, but to me, nothing feels more comfortable than just a tee and some comfortable jeans, and that to me is everything. As long as my kicks are fresh, I'm happy. I don't care if my shirt costs $1. I don't care if it costs $200. Like as long as I'm comfortable and my sneakers look fly, I'm completely satisfied for the day. And
I want to, if you don't mind, I want to dig into kind of the idea behind that and why it is that for you. You you adopted the culture that you grew up in,
mhm,
right? With the kicks and the hat and the hip hop culture. You adopted that
mhm.
culture. But you adopted that culture because it made you feel a certain way. It made you feel whether it was like home, it was familiar, it was comfortable, but it makes you feel good in some way. In some way, either it makes you feel good because you're connected to the community, it makes you feel good because it connects you to where you live, makes you feel good because you feel like you look good in them,
Well,
whatever the case may be.
that
Like,
to me, I think for me mostly it's stylistically. I think, and I you know I'll touch back on that subject where I don't care if these sneakers came from a dollar store. In these specific designs that I have,
mm-hmm,
I actually really like them. I love how they look. So like if I'm gonna pick out something that I have to really like it. Like again, these things are expensive. You end up spending tons of money on this stuff. And if I'm gonna wear them all the time, then I have to one day have to be comfortable. So I'm big on that too. I'm super big on comfort. So
mm-hmm.
that's another thing about them. Like if I walk around in boots all day, for me that's not comfortable. I don't drive, so the majority of the times I'm walking. So if I'm walking, and if you know anything about New York, everything is pretty close distance. So you don't really necessarily need a car. Trains are super accessible. You can hop in a cab if you need to, which is what I do if I need to travel, you know, extra, or one of my friends are giving me a ride or whatever the case is. So when it comes down to it, like the majority of times I am trooping it. And if I'm going to be trooping it, then I need to be super comfortable while I'm doing it. And in the large spectrum of sneakers, I think J's are really comfortable. There's also some Nikes that are called foam posits.
Okay.
They're a little heavy, but once you get used to that weight, super comfortable, super comfortable. So to me, that's what it is. To me, it's stylistically I like them, and it's also the comfortability,
And it makes
and
you feel
that's
good, makes you feel like you.
Well, yeah, that's it's my own twist on things. I know there's like me and my uncle go back and forth all the time where there's certain, there's certain sneakers that he prefers over the ones that I get. And that's because they're from his era, right? So
Right.
he's maybe like 6 years older than me, but they're sneakers that he got from his era. I think mostly that's what it boils down to. These were popular when I was a kid, and these were the ones that I actually looked at and was like, okay, I like these the most because I've seen all of them at this point, and there's still some of them that I'm like, not wearing those. No way in hell. You couldn't pay me to wear some of those Jordans. Like even if they were a gift, I'd be like, you guys still got the receipt because I might want to return these.
There's another pair that I can switch these out with. Let me thank you for the
Yeah,
thought,
yeah,
but I'm gonna go
yeah,
ahead and get something that I feel better with.
yeah. And it's one of those things where it's just like it's just become such a big part of what I do. Like it's
It became part of your identity.
I don't want to say that because I feel like materialistic things
Well,
shouldn't be who you are.
no, it's not who you are. Okay. So who you are is separate from your identity.
Yeah.
Identity is, it can be broken down into pieces, right?
Hmm.
Identity can be broken down on your personality level. It can be broken down into your outside appearance. It can be broken down into your communication with people, your interaction with people, your emotions on certain things, your ideas. Identity can be broken down into all those things. I do agree with you that material things shouldn't be, but they are. They are. But let's be honest. We get things that make us feel good and that we
Hmm.
feel good, we look in, and it's part of who we are. Those material things that help support our bigger picture of our identity. It's not the thing, it's just a part, no matter how
Yeah,
big or small.
that's fair. That's fair.
Does that make sense?
No, no, that's fair. That's fair. I see what you're saying about that.
Yeah,
Um,
and it's just like me here. So obviously we live in two different parts of the world,
yeah,
or
and you're
two
you're
different
all the
parts
way
of
in
the country.
Texas. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
you're
all
all
the
the way
way
in
in
Texas.
Texas, right? So we don't have that closeness here. I drive a truck. I drive a lot. There's not a lot of walking to and from where I need to go. It's if we need to go somewhere, I'm driving.
Hmm.
And so just even that dictates a little bit of what kind of material things are going to make me feel good about the identity in the environment I'm in,
All right. So what
right?
would you say? What would you say that is for you?
So for me personally, I don't know what it is. Ever since I was younger, I've always wanted a truck. I think it's because my grandfather, he had this old Ford truck and he had it forever. I mean, forever. And when I first was able to start driving, I remember the first time I had my license and I went to go visit El Paso and I was visiting my grandfather and everything. And I asked him if I can borrow the truck because I wanted to go meet some friends. And he allowed me to do it. And this truck has been in the family, I mean, years, years. I mean, it was in the family when I was as far back as I can remember, as 7 years old. So almost 10 years later, we still have that truck in the family and he lets me go drive it and I start driving. I'm like, yep, okay. I want a truck when I get old. I want a truck. When I can afford it, I want a truck. And ever since then, I just always wanted a truck. I don't care about the whole gas thing. I don't care about all that stuff. I wanted a truck. And it makes sense for my area to have that because, well, I do a lot of manual labor type work. I help friends move. I do a lot of that stuff. So it just makes sense for my environment, for where I'm at.
Right.
When it comes to my environment on the work stuff, for me, it's very plain clothes. It's comfortable Wrangler jeans
Hmm.
or Dickie jeans, the carpenter jeans, because I do a
Yeah.
lot of work. Um, Comfortable work boots. I can wear those all the time, every day. I mean, I'd be cool with it. When it comes to outside of work, I mean, these cowboy boots have been the probably most comfortable cowboy boots. Before, about 5, 6 years ago, you would never see me wearing anything country style. Nothing country style. But I started wearing it and I realized, you know what? I think I look good. I feel good wearing this stuff. I like the boots. They look good. And so it became just a small part of my identity. It's a small part. right? It's not who I am. It's just I'm a quote unquote chameleon when it comes to that stuff. I can probably wear what you normally wear on a day-to-day basis, and I can probably pull it off, you know.
We're
So
gonna have to
there's,
get you in some J's.
bro, I I don't know, man, because the way I use shoes, I mean, I'm constantly doing something that's going to get them dirty.
Right. So see, that's the issue for me. Like I had somebody say that to me the other day. It was like, oh well, I live on a ranch. Those things look nice, but they wouldn't survive up here. I'm like,
Hmm.
you're probably fucking right, because they're not. They really are just made for style.
Right.
Like they're not made for functionality. Like if you're gonna be tearing them up, you have to keep in mind that you're tearing up 180 to $250 sneakers.
Yeah,
So
no, see, like for
they're
me,
not for that.
no, man, I have to get my sneakers from like Walmart or Payless or a dollar store because I just do too much, man. I just do
Yeah.
too much. I'm constantly in and out of my truck.
Well,
I'm either,
that's what makes sense though, right? It's what makes sense for your life. It's if I had a job where I was in my sneakers all day and I was walking in them all day, I wouldn't be doing that shit in Jordans. I'd probably maybe grab some New Balances or something a little cheaper, knowing that there's going to be a lot of wear and tear. But for me, I literally wear them out of my house to work. I change out of them when I'm at work. I'm there for 8 hours. They're sitting on a shelf. When my work day is done, I put them back on. I wear them for like another 20, 30 minutes. I'm back home. I take them off. I'm done.
yeah. I mean, yeah, but like that doesn't work for me. That just, but then again, that goes to the whole idea. Our environment and our culture kind of almost dictates
Yeah.
the style that gets put into our identity for where we're at in
And
our
it's funny
environment and
because
our
I never
lives.
thought about it like that. I never thought about it like that. I
It's
always thought
crazy, man.
like I always thought to myself like, you couldn't catch me dead in some cowboy boots. But
But if you were
but
working on a
but if
ranch
but if
or
yeah, but if I was living down where you're at, it would probably make more sense. I couldn't be rocking J's to be working a field and tending horses and stuff like that. It obviously wouldn't be the smartest thing to do.
no,
So
your J's would be used for nights out. They'd be your dress
yeah,
shoes or whatever. You know what I mean?
I almost
So,
I almost wore them to my wedding.
well, okay.
My wife
Let's
didn't
move.
like that idea.
No, I wouldn't have like. I mean, to each their own. To each their
Yeah, no. All right. So
own.
right. Let's get off of the personal attire, and let's get into something a little more gravity based and real. Um
Well,
you have started this nonprofit organization called the What Makes Us Fire Foundation.
that is correct.
I have been, you know, along the ride for the beginning and start of this, and it's a great noble effort. It's great to see what you're doing with that. Um, let me have it.
So I'm gonna kind of give you a background as to how it got started.
Yes, please.
During the whole COVID shit, when it started happening, before that, I had an idea of wanting to have some type of outlet to start sharing some ideas. And I got really heavy into podcasts from a friend of mine. He's very much into self improvement
Mhm.
and self improvement via listening to motivational speakers, positive affirmations, trying new ideas to make yourself a better you. He, I always liked the Joe Rogan podcast, and it wasn't until I heard an episode by David Goggins. David Goggins was a guest on the Joe Rogan podcast, and his story on how he became a better him and what he built on the idea of just who he is, what he built just being who he is was phenomenal.
Yeah, I know his story. He's an incredible guy.
Yeah. So when I heard that, I was like, you know what? I want to start a podcast. I had this idea that there's this stigma or idea about civil service personnel, firefighters, cops, EMTs, dispatchers, that because of the job we're doing, we're more than. We are quote unquote superhuman, quote unquote heroes, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, that ideal of being larger than life almost.
Yeah. And I wanted to share the idea that while we appreciate that sentiment, we appreciate it when people tell us, hey, you're a hero, thank you for your service, all that stuff. We appreciate that sentiment. We really do. However, we feel like we're not because we're just normal human beings doing an abnormal job, right? So the
Mhm.
idea was to get a bunch of civil service members, whether it be fire, police, EMTs, dispatchers, nurses, anybody that's making a difference in their community, a civil service person. You are a civil service person in that you have found a way to share your idea, your story to help others. You're helping civilization in a way in your own realm, right? So
Mhm.
I would even consider you a civil service member because you are doing a service for civilization, for people. And so I wanted to start a podcast to share those stories. I wanted to get the stories of the wives, the spouses, right? The husbands, the daughters, the
Mhm.
sons, the mothers, the fathers, because all of them are part of that family. They're part
Right.
of that civil service family. And I want to show on all aspects that we are just normal human beings like everybody else. We
Right.
deal with the same issues. We have the same problems. We have the same emotions when it comes to stuff. So when
Um,
we make a mistake or when we break, we're not less than. We're not anything less than somebody else going through a tragedy and having a breakdown.
well, to kind of throw my perspective on that, I completely agree with what you're saying. Um, I think the idea that you guys aren't just regular human beings who have stress, who have, you know, troubles and worries and struggles. I think the idea of, removing that from, oh well, he's a firefighter, or well, he's a cop. He should be more than that. Like, I think is dismissive of the person that actually exists behind that uniform, behind the badge. It's it's to say that you should be held at a higher standard, which in most cases on the job is true, right? You
On
have,
the job.
yeah, most cases that's why I said it that way. Most
Yeah.
cases on the job you should be held to a higher standard, which is completely fine. But the things that you guys have to see, there's a different kind of darkness to the things that civil servants have to see. People who are in the military, police service, firefighters, EMTs, there's things that you guys have to see that even though it's your job, that shit will fuck you up. And I don't think
It's
people think about it like that.
well, they don't because so the way I explained it was civil service members, whether it be military, police, fire, EMS, we
Hmm.
see somebody's tragedy. A normal person that doesn't do or in this line of work might have one or two tragedies their entire life,
Hmm.
right? And I mean like hardcore tragedies,
Yes,
very,
yes.
very severe tragedies. They might have one or two their entire life, right? Well, we'll see one or two in a shift in one
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
And now we're a part of that person's tragedy. But we're expected while we're on the job not to have the human emotion. And we don't. We have learned our coping mechanisms that allow us to do the job during that. But sometimes there are those calls, there are those incidents where when we go back, it's like, well,
Yeah.
fuck. How do I process this? How do I deal with it? And then if we start breaking, well, then the general public and then the fear of our brothers and sisters is that they're going to look at us as less than because we feel like we have to live up to this idea. We have
Hmm.
to be more than. We're not. We're not more than. We're human beings.
Yeah.
So
And
I want
it should be seen that way too. But
it
like,
should be, but
yeah, no, and that's just the nature of the things. This is what makes what you're doing so fucking important, because I don't think there's a lot of that out there, if at all.
it's very small. the idea is starting to grow. There's other podcasts that are trying to share kind of the same message,
Mm-hmm.
and different, support groups and everything that are
Mm-hmm.
trying to share that message. I'm doing it in my own way.
Mm-hmm.
So I started the podcast. I did at least 2 months of prep work. I mean, I followed an outline. I came up with the idea, came up with the logo, came up with the mission for the podcast, came up with a scheduling system, came up with a vetting system of who would fall in line to have on the show to share these stories and messages. And doing all that, I built that social media footprint. I started with Facebook because Facebook is probably the largest one out there. And then I got on the Instagram, and the Instagram started building. And then I got um uh, Facebook, Instagram, and there's Twitter. Those were the first three that I got on. I still don't know how Twitter works at all. But as I was doing the podcasts and everything, those social media platforms were strictly for promoting the podcast. That's all they were for. Not going to lie. Just to promote the podcast, to get some traffic to come listen to the show. It wasn't until I think I was about 4 or 5 episodes in that on the Facebook page, somebody reached out and said, "Hey, I need some help. I'm in a bad place." I wasn't doing anything. I was sitting in the bunk room at the station. So I messaged him, and we just started texting back and forth, just started messaging him. He was having a bad time. He was in a bad place. And, he was a cop and everything else. And we just talked, and I was like, "Hey man, it's getting late. I need to go to bed. How about you reach out to me tomorrow and we can continue this conversation? I'm good. I'm glad that we calmed you down, that you were able to talk to somebody. Call me tomorrow or text me tomorrow." And I got home, I started working on editing one of my previous episodes, and all of a sudden I'm getting a video call from Facebook Messenger. And it's the gentleman that I was talking to the night before. And I answer the phone, I see him, and he's sitting like at a bar or at a pub or something. And he's like, "Hey." I'm like, "Hey, what's up?" And I'm noticing, oh, this guy has an accent. Okay, what's going on? He goes, the first words that came out of his mouth was, "I want to say thank you for saving my life last night." Whoa, 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 whoa. That's pretty deep. Brother, all we did was talk, man. All I was here for was just letting you vent. I've been there before. Sometimes all you need is just to like let the ideas in your head out, the emotions and feelings in your head out, and your
Yep.
head out. Sometimes that's all you need. And
Yep.
I just wanted to be that for you. And when he started that off, I realized, holy shit, this is turning into something more than, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we talked. Dude is from the UK. He's a cop in the UK. And then I realized this has a much farther reach than I ever thought it was going to have.
Precisely.
So I was like, okay, all right. If it wasn't for the podcast, had I not been there just to say, "What's up? How are you doing?" What could have happened, right?
Right.
So I was like, okay, then I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to keep doing this no matter what. Not only because I want to, but because now I see that it's making a difference some way, somehow. Fast forward a couple of guests. I had a guest on the show, a daughter of a firefighter that I work with, and she's mentioned TikTok, formerly known as Musically.
Mm-hmm.
And I I I made fun of everybody on TikTok, brother. I'm going to be honest with you. I thought it was just
Same
I thought it was just an app for, teenagers and
nonsense.
young people to dance stupid dances to
and
weird
and
songs
and
that
and nonsense. Yeah.
and nonsense.
I'm right there with you because, as you well know, um, my co-host has been on TikTok for a really long time, and he just did
Mhm.
it for comedy and hilarity, and it ended up turning into, talking about NPD, which is narcissistic personality disorder. For me, I was super reluctant, even seeing him do that. I was super reluctant. I'm like, nah, I'm not doing that. I'm not making a TikTok. And he finally broke me down. He's like, dude, just create one, because if you're trying to help and you want, to reach more people, a lot more people are using this platform right now. It could possibly do that. I was like, all right, well, I'll level with you. I'll use it to promote the show, and we'll see what happens from there. And, fast forwarding to now, me and you both have been at saving lives for months now. And
Yeah, and well, the thing is, so I got on, and my first TikTok was basically blaming her for making the TikTok, right? For making the account. I was just like, hey guys, this is Josh from What Makes Us Fire. I'm on TikTok now, I guess, thanks to Krista. Whatever, here we go. And so I start scrolling through the For You and I'm liking stuff and I'm like, all right, cool. And, it gets me into the whole firefighter realm because I like the civil service ones and everything. And then I was like, okay, cool. Well, previously I was very into creating art. Before all of this, before I was even a firefighter, I wanted to be an actor. Started off as a model, used to do ballroom dancing and everything else. And then I found that TikTok allowed me to express that part of myself I kind of lost. I was able to be creative a little bit again. I was
yeah,
like, all right, cool. And I started making videos, the show started getting a little bit more traction. I had a guest named Jason Patton from Fire Department Chronicles. If you don't know him, if you're not in the service realm, you might not know him. But if you're in the fire service realm, the civil service realm, you know him. This dude's hilarious. Hilarious. He makes the job funny because he makes these small videos that will be like dealing with a patient after you give him Narcan. And he does it in a funny way, even though it's real life. He lightens the severity and makes it funny. And he said, yeah, TikTok, you got to get on TikTok. Okay, cool. So I started making these videos. People started reaching out. People started reaching out. And I was like, you know
hmm
what? Mental health is kind of becoming a big thing for me because I was going through a time where my depression almost took over. And after talking with my therapist and everything, she was like, yeah, sharing your story, talking about it makes it a little bit easier to deal with. I mean, if it's easier to deal with and it's easier to talk about, you can do the things that are going to help you become better for you.
right,
I was like, okay,
right,
cool. So I started talking about it on the videos and everything, and it started reaching people. Okay. And then I made one video. It was a reach out video. It
yeah,
was basically telling people, look, you're not alone in this. There are people out there that just want to talk to you, that just want to hear you. Even if you don't want to hear them back, there are people there. You have to be able to make that decision for yourself, though. You
right,
have to be able to make that decision for yourself. Nobody's going to be able to do it for you. You are not going to be able to find your self worth and happiness in anything or anyone else. You need to do that for yourself first.
right.
And I made a video that said reach out, and
Mm.
I made a goal to who I call now my family. I don't call them followers. Followers, I wish we can change that. I
Yeah,
call them my family. These are people that decided to give you their time.
yeah,
They said you are worth their time. What you put out there,
exactly.
your content is worth their time, and time is precious. You can't get it back. So they're family for that reason. And I made a goal of growing the family to 5K. Well, I made that video.
I remember. I
Yeah,
remember because
I
I
made
was I
that
was in your
video.
live when you were talking about that weekend, and you were like, I'm just trying to get to like 5K by the end of this weekend, and you were at like 4,000 something,
Yeah,
and I said it to you in there. I was like, brother, it's gonna happen faster than you know. Then you put out the video, and I messaged you back about it. I was like, dude, this is gonna be it. Watch it happen, and boom, it was like a fucking rocket ship. It's
two
kind of
days. Yeah, 2 days later, the
it's
family
kind
grew
it's kind of what
11K,
happened. Yeah, it's kind
11,000. Holy shit.
right. It's kind of what happened with the same video I put out. I put out this not like ominous video that said, if this lands on your For You page, there's a reason for it. To me, you'll see. And that was it. And I just put it out just to see if it would hit anybody, if anybody actually took the time out to even come talk to me, which obviously I was going to be on the other end and do what I do, right? But
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to see if that would get out there. And fast forward to now, there's like 500,000 views on the video, and so many people has popped in, and it blew up my follower count, and a lot of people are reaching out. And like, I didn't know then what you didn't know. Like, you didn't know it was going to reach that many people and it was going to become this big thing, but it did. But the amount of people that we're able to reach and talk to and help cope with things, they now feel like there's somebody out there who actually gives a fuck. And that's the importance of what we do.
And that's the thing that actually, while it was good for me personally, it shot my anxiety through the fucking roof.
Yes.
Because I mean, I was literally on that video 24/7 scrolling through the comments.
Yes.
I didn't want to miss that comment that said, and there were those comments, nobody ever reaches out, goodbye. Or, you know
Mm-hmm.
what, this is great sentiment, but nobody actually really cares. Or you only
Yes.
made this video to get people to come to your page. And I'm like, no, 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 I didn't. So I remember there was like 1,500 comments, and then there was 3,000 comments. And I was just like, I guarantee you 1,000 of those comments were me responding to
Yeah.
those people,
Yeah. I
because
got
I didn't want them to think that I just don't care. I didn't make the video and say reach out just so I can fucking ignore you. That's not the
yeah.
purpose of the
Yeah.
video.
It's so funny.
The purpose was because I've been there. I've been to that point where you feel like nobody's listening or nobody understands or nobody whatever. I've been
Absolutely.
there. And so my anxiety shot through the roof because I didn't want to miss anybody.
I got comment banned for replying too much on my video. They stopped
Really?
me from, they stopped. I was going through everything and commenting so many times that they said can't send new comments, commenting too fast. They literally stopped me. So all I did was go through the list of everybody else that was left that I couldn't comment to, and I just fucking hit like. I'm like, I see you, I see you, I see you, I see you, I see you. It stopped me from messaging for a while. So I was like, I had people messaging me so much that it banned my messages, that I was comment it was messaging back too fast. It was crazy. It was crazy when it all popped.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And yeah, it definitely shot my anxiety through the roof. And so at that point, I started asking other people, hey, I can't do this on my own. I'm killing myself here. I'm up until
Yeah.
3 o'clock in the morning. I'm not getting any sleep. I'm so freaking worried about people reaching out. I don't want to miss anybody. So I had a few people help me start reaching out. That's when I realized that being an advocate and being somebody to help was something I needed to do. So, what's today's date? Today's December 19th, right? It's Saturday. Almost 2 weeks ago to today, it was a
Mhm.
Monday, I pitched an idea to what I like to call the What Makes Us Fire OGs, basically the ones that were following me before I even had a TikTok or was like at 300 followers on TikTok, right? And they believed in the idea and the awareness. And I said, hey, I want to start a nonprofit. I want to start a nonprofit, but to begin with, I want to start a nonprofit to help first responders, civil service members, active and retired military veterans to get inpatient mental health treatment.
Mhm.
The reason being is because for me, I didn't go because of financial reasons, right?
Right.
I don't want that to be a factor in somebody making a decision to go get the mental health help they need.
Right.
So we're starting with first responders, civil service, and military because statistically, all of them put together, they're all 4 times more likely to develop some type of mental health issue, whether it be depression, anxiety, PTSD,
Right.
addiction, something, right?
Right.
They're all then the general public are 4 times more likely to develop some type of mental health disease due to the job, just the
Right.
job. not to mention all the personal and family stresses that go along with it.
Right.
So I did that. All of a sudden, oh, I know this person. Oh, I know that person. Oh, I know this person. I got this contact. I got this contact. I know this lawyer. I know this person. One of my officers on the board is a grant writer. I was looking up how to fund a nonprofit. You can fund a nonprofit through grants, but you need to find and hire a good grant writer. Well, lo and behold, here's one of my officers is like, well, that's what I do for a living.
Nice.
I was like, what? And it's just falling into place. It's just, this is meant to be. It's just falling into place. It's just falling into place. And I'm like, yeah, but now we got to worry about lawyers and stuff. One of my other officers, the vice president, she's like, I'm going to talk to my lawyer and see what he says. Had a
Mhm.
meeting with him just a couple of days ago. He said, I'm gonna hop on. I'm gonna help you out. I'll file all the paperwork for you. I'll do all the tax stuff for you. I will file your nonprofit status for you pro bono.
That's fucking
What?
incredible. That's
What?
incredible.
Not only that, he offered to be the What Makes Us Fire Foundation legal counsel until we get to a point where so big that it becomes too much, too busy for him. Then at that point, he will be needed to be retained. But for right
Yeah.
now, for this growing process, pro bono, What Makes Us Fire Foundation has a lawyer, has
That's
legal
amazing.
counsel.
That's amazing, dude.
You put that into monetary perspective, that's like a $20,000 thing that he's
Yeah,
doing for free. Him and
absolutely.
another lawyer. Then he's going off and talking to other CPAs to see what they'll do for us pro
Hmm.
bono. Like,
That's really good,
holy
man.
crap, right? And so it's just been growing and growing and growing and growing and growing. And that's where we're at now. We're still in that growing phase. We have
It's been incredible to see the process too, because like, you as our listeners are gonna hear now, you've been talking about this for weeks now, and you've
yeah,
been hopping on your lives, and you've been pretty transparent about all that, and you've been discussing all this out in the open. And as this process is coming along, like I've been here for the beginning of it, and I'm just like watching the process. I'm like, dude, this is incredible. It's really starting to take off into the idea and vision that you saw for this. And the fact that all these chips are falling where they are, I mean, it's what I talk about all the time. It's that cosmic karma wheel. It's the intentions and the genuine nature behind what you're doing, which is making, everybody that comes across you, everybody that hears about this idea, it's like a spark immediately, kind of like how we met. It's just one of those immediate things where it's like, I fucking love this. Hell yeah, I'm in.
yeah, it's crazy how the idea has sparked a passion for others
Yeah.
to hop on to help in any way they can, whether it
Yes.
be to donate or to get me in contact with somebody that might be able to help in a certain realm that needs to be helped with. I had no idea what a 501c3 nonprofit organization consisted of. I thought, just like when I started the podcast, I thought it was, I'm going to record, I'm going to post, that's it,
Yep.
done. No, 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 no.
Same thing with
This,
the show.
this episode, whenever we finish, depending on how long it is, it's going to take me 2 to 3 hours to edit to make sure it
Yeah.
sounds good,
Yeah.
to all the little hiccups because of internet connections and stuff, to
Yeah.
make sure there's no little bumps.
Which
Obviously, we got
I kind of
we
like that we got cut out before, because it just shows you like this is how it happens. The best laid
all the
plans,
time.
the best laid plans. We were like, okay, we're gonna start the show at 10:30. 10:45 comes around and we're just getting in the lobby to start talking. And because you were trying to get yourself set up with the computer, I'm sitting here rubbing coal out of my eye, walking the dog, like because I just woke up. So like
Right.
it's very indicative of our actual lives. Like it's we have good intentions, we get to what we need to do, but there's gonna be some shit in between there. there's
Yeah,
gonna be
there's always a fucking hiccup. Always a fucking
there's
hiccup.
gonna be some shit in between there.
It falls in line with in the fire service. We always say, don't make plans. Don't make plans for don't say you're going to do this first thing in the morning when you get off shift,
Hmm.
because if you say it out loud and you put it out there, the fire gods are going to be like, you thought that's what you were going to do. you know
Then that bell rings. It's like,
Yeah,
fuck,
then
I
that
gotta
bell
throw my
rings and you're like,
uniform
well,
back on.
ah, damn it.
right?
Oh, here we are. We're going to a fire call. And yeah, hey, I got 2 hours of overtime from it, but there goes my
Yeah,
appointment that I made, or there
yeah.
goes this plan that I made. You just don't do it. There's always hiccups, but that's life, right?
It is. It
That's
really
just, it
is.
doesn't matter who you are, what you do. Life is the same for everybody.
Yep,
It happens.
it's gonna throw some monkey wrenches at you, and you know what I mean. You gotta duck, dodge, and dip and move. Is kind of what I say. Protect yourself at all times, because you never know where it's coming from, but it's coming.
Yeah,
Like
it is. It's
it's
coming, and it's gonna
it's
come, and
coming.
it's gonna smack you across the head like that damn wrench because
You
you
know
forgot
it.
to duck in time or
Yeah,
something.
I know. I'm telling you, man. So let's
Well, actually, I want to get into with you, man. I'm gonna move forward now for my side of the things. Is I want to ask you, when did you decide that? Obviously, you started the podcast.
right.
What? Two questions. What made you decide to do the podcast
Mhm.
first, right? And then two, when did you realize what you were doing was more than you? I.e., you started realizing what you were putting out there and what you were doing was, it meant more than just you doing it because you like do it. Now you're seeing, holy shit, this is making a difference. It became
Okay.
more than just you.
Got you. Okay. So part one of that is, um, so my daughter has a heart condition, and I think we spoke about this before, and you might have heard it on the show.
Briefly, yeah, briefly,
Yeah.
yeah.
So she had to go through surgery at a month old. Like we knew this since she was about 9 months pregnant, that it was going to be some things we had to go through. Um, so when she first went in, it was like it was it was normal. It was the very first procedure. It was a balloon catheter from her umbilical cord to her heart. That was
Hmm.
supposed to keep a valve open, keep it pumping, make sure the blood oxygen levels were being mixed correctly, and all her levels and saturation levels were fine.
Hmm.
That worked out okay for a month. It was supposed to be 3 months. Shit happened, and she ended up turning blue on us in an appointment that we had for a cardiologist. So she was getting a cardio echogram, which is a sonogram for the heart. Um, so when that happened, she we pretty much rushed her back to the ICU that she was in, the NICU, and they had their first surgery. They tried to bring her levels back up. Nothing was working. No oxygen help was working. They need to get her to that surgery, which is now what she has, a BT shunt in her valve. Um, so once that happened, everything was good, super good. She's on target with all her milestones. She's a healthy, happy, normal baby. Like if you didn't know, you wouldn't know. Um, we still have more roads to cross. There's going to be more surgeries to come, but in doing all that, it brought me back down to earth. Because like at a minute, like I've always been pretty even keeled, and I've always wanted to, do the right things, but I never really had like a good grasp on what that really meant. So I always tried to do the right things, but I never had a really good nexus or a genesis to where it all really starts. And when that hit me, I contemplated the entire universe at large. And I knew the things that, the people that I had in place, the people that I reached out to, whether it be friends or family, the people who actually love and cared about me enough to hear what I was going through with the baby and actually be there. And it was probably, I'm not going to say it's the first situation that I had in that level, but it was one of the most scariest times in life. And when I really did need the people that I had in my life, they showed up. And, again, you guys have heard this 1,000 times. I can't thank you enough. But for me now, it was like, all right, I have that. What about the people that don't have it at all? What about the people who have zero support system, who don't have friends at all, who don't have family at all, who have no one to turn to and nobody in their corner? Nobody that's listening, nobody that even really sees them at all. Because you get passed by in the street, and especially in a place like New York, it's so busy, it's so packed with people, pre-COVID, but it's just such a densely populated area. You can get lost in the shuffle really quick. And for people who don't have anybody to reach to, imagine that feeling of being lost in the shuffle and forgotten. Like, what about those people that are going through, situations like myself, or struggling with other mental health issues or depression, anxiety, substance abuse, whatever it is that that struggle is, I need to find the forgotten, the people who don't have it. So let me be a bit of an anchor for that. And then when I started the podcast, it was to talk about those things, to let that stuff out, to make it a refuge and a safe place for people to come to and be like, you know what, this is what he went through. These are the stories that these guys have, and maybe I can come out the other side, give a little hope in there. And with my co-host going through like this narcissistic relationship, he had a lot of insight on stuff, and we're now gravitating to other people and bringing out other people's unique perspectives and going through all these different things. Maybe it'll be that rock for somebody who doesn't have that foundation. Let us be that small pillar of just a small conduit of good. And if we can be that, then it starts to give people some hope. And if you have hope, then you're still in the fight. And that fight is life. And you know, like I know, ain't nothing gonna hit harder than life. It's just not a thing. Life is
It's
gonna
that
hit you the hardest.
it's that whole saying, nobody dies a virgin, but life fucks us all.
You know it. So so
During that time, real quick, you hit on something, right? Where you wanted to start the podcast to share your story. During that time with your daughter, did you find yourself struggling with any of those mental health issues?
no.
I want to say anxiety, probably, of
All
the
right,
unknown.
so I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
There's a really adamant no on that. And the reason why I say it so sternly and so adamantly is because I have a lot of faith.
Hmm.
Um, I knew the good that I had been doing in this world already. You know, prior to the podcast, I knew the kind of person I was. I knew the kind of person my wife was, and I knew that, you know, on all levels, we universally didn't deserve anything bad to happen. So when we did get stuck with a bad situation, what we could do is think positive, because I've been on this positive, you know, thought process for a really long time. It was put all good vibes out there, you know, trust in the good Lord above. He has not let us down yet. If ever there's a time that he's not gonna let us down, it's fucking right now. And I believe that then, I believe it now. And you know, seeing her now, my faith wasn't misplaced. Um, so when I think about, you know, the stress level, high, absolutely, exponentially high stress level, right? Um, I don't really think the anxiety was high, because it was more of a sadness, like a heartbreak, really. Because like, you
Like you
know,
were sorry she was going through that, and you felt like you couldn't do anything.
well, yeah, it's the powerlessness. So
Right.
like, you know, of all the things I know I can do, of all the things that I can say, of all the things that I'm capable of, my initial thought was, well, fuck, why didn't I become a heart surgeon? I could have done anything in this life. Why the fuck didn't I become a heart surgeon? Because then I could actually physically do something about it.
Right.
And it was that thing where it's like, it's really hard for me to let somebody else do something for me and trust that they're going to follow through. But in a case like the doctor, his name is Dr. Mosca, in the case of him, like, this is his job. This is what he does day in and day out. It's what he sees day in and day out. And the success rate was super high. So it that in and of itself alleviated a lot of the anxiety and the worry towards it, because it's not something that was unknown. It's a complicated process regardless, but it was something that they've been through, that they have a good handle on. So it put my mind at ease with all those things. And that's why I said it was kind of just like, just having faith and keeping that strength and that poise for my wife, because I know her stress level was crazy. There were times that the first like couple of weeks that she was in the hospital, I went pretty much every day except for 2 days. And there was those 2 days where mentally, and this is one thing that, you know, I'm grateful for her for, she knew where my level was. She knew the amount of sadness and the stress that I had, even seeing her on breathing tubes. And just, you're a parent, you know what that would feel like. um I can't even not get choked up about it a little bit when I talk about it, because
Yeah,
it's
I
one of those
get you,
things
man.
where it's like, it's a fuck, dude, that's heavy, right?
Hmm.
So I stood home because I was just like, yo, I need to be here. I need to not see that for today. I
And it
can't
does
deal.
And it doesn't say or make you anything less than, it
No,
doesn't make you less
it
of a
was
parent. It doesn't make you less of somebody that cares. It was just, we don't think about it sometimes in this way, but you had to make sure that
I,
you were good for you so you can be good for her.
I knew
You
exactly where my mental state was.
exactly.
I knew how much it was hurting me, and I knew that if I needed to be there for my wife, then I had to really be there. And I didn't have that energy. And I'm like, look, I need to just not be there today. I need to just give me the day. Just give me the day and just hold on for me. Like call me as much as you need to, FaceTime me, text me, whatever. I'm here, but I just can't physically be there. Like I don't have the mental headspace. And it was that wherewithal that made the process more manageable
Right.
because it was knowing when I was at a point of breaking. And it was like, if I take this one step back, if I just take this one step back, then I'll be all right. And grateful to her, like I said, for her understanding that. And like she gave me zero shit. She's like, I understand. I get it. I love you. Try to just hang out for the day. Try to keep it out of your mind. I was like, impossible, but I'm gonna call you guys all day. But I physically just couldn't see it because in my past I had lost a child. Um,
Hmm.
due to early childbirth at 5 months. So
Sorry to hear
watching,
that.
no, it's all good, brothers. Life,
Right.
man.
Yeah.
But watching, not fully developed baby die in your arms, it's something that you'll never forget. It's
Right.
and in that situation, kind of brought back all that shit, which is what took me back. And I was just like, I need a fucking minute. Like, I need a fucking minute.
Well, it's something that we preach on What Makes Us Fire all the time, right?
Yeah,
Whenever I'm on, is it you have to be the best you so you can be the best you for everybody else in your life,
absolutely.
right? Because if you're not in the right headspace, then you are giving the person that's not in the right headspace to everybody else. You might think, oh, I'm still there for them and everything else, but you're
Hmm.
not really fully there for them. You're just giving them the parts. You're giving them little
You're on
bits and
autopilot.
pieces.
You're on
Yeah,
autopilot.
you're giving them bits and pieces of who you are at that point in time, because you're having all this other stuff on your mind that's weighing you
Hmm.
down, your feelings or your emotion. You can't be 100% there if you're not 100% there for you first. So
Exactly.
you had the wherewithal to say, hey, I just need the day, I need 2 days, whatever it was. I just need to make sure that I am giving 100% of myself, and right now I can't do that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's okay. That is
Yeah.
perfectly fine. It doesn't mean anything less than anything.
Well, and in that aspect, like I kind of like was pissed off at myself for it. Like I knew I needed the time, but I was upset at myself for needing it.
No,
Like
I
so,
get it.
like I'm my own worst critic, so I was harder on myself than and I not to be fucking cross or rude, but I don't give a fuck about how anybody else feels about me. So whether or not I took that day for me, and somebody's like, well, how could you stay away from the hospital? Like, first of all, mind your business. Second of all, watch your mouth.
Right.
Third of all, you're not me, so let me do me and you do you. I'll worry about myself, you worry about yourself.
You'll
And that's
find out
just
about it later on the
yeah.
fucking podcast, Dick.
And that's just real shit. And not that anybody gave me any shit about it, but if I
Right.
had anybody to look at me like, that way, that's kind of my response. It's like, well, I dealt with it the best I could. You don't know what I was going through, so mind your fucking business.
Hmm.
But thankfully the support system that I had around me, nobody really, judged me for it, or pretty much everyone understood, like, I couldn't even imagine what you're going through. I get it. Like, don't feel bad for wanting to stay home for one day because like we know we understand it's fucking heavy. Um, so fast forwarding away from the somberness here.
Well, I was going to say, yeah. So
Sorry to
that
bum you guys out.
no, 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 but no, because it gives the backstory into what you've created, right?
Yeah,
There's a deeper story in a lot of things with people that start to change the world.
yeah.
They start to change the world because they saw either a lacking that they felt they needed, and so they start developing it, and or they saw that there's a lacking for others in what they had, and so
Hmm.
they want to start sharing it.
Right,
It's all about helping others, right?
right.
So you have this story, and thank God it's working out, you know,
Yeah, I mean,
It's
fucking
an
knock
it's
on
an
wood.
right. It's an amazing thing. But this experience in your life brought you to a point now where you have this podcast, you have this platform where now you're helping others,
Right.
right?
So, in the second part of your question was, did I think this platform was going to do all this? I had no idea this was going to happen. I started the podcast much like yourself. I had an idea of something that I was interested in putting out there. So I hit record. And I'm like, I talked to my co-host about it. I'm like, yo, dude, I'm thinking about starting a podcast. This is what I want to talk about. I want to talk about, our life stories a little bit and get other people's perspectives on things. But I also want to sprinkle in some good news. I felt like, with all the COVID stuff, with all the political climate, there wasn't a multitude of good news. You weren't hearing good things. And, let's if we can give people a reprieve from that, if people can hear some good news and hear some inspiring stories about other people doing amazing acts of humanity, which is what I've done in the segment. It's called Amazing Acts of Humanity. It's finding people that are doing great things in the world and sharing that information out so that, these people aren't getting spoke about in mainstream media. Let's get this stuff out to the forefront. Let's get people to hear this stuff so they know that it's not all gloom and doom. There are some good people in this world. And, at its core, I think the majority of people are good or even want to be, but they just have a hard time relating to it because it's not seen, it's not pushed as much. So
No, it's that whole idea that so for me it my theory is the idea of, especially with mainstream media, even social media, is that the minority is defining life right now.
yeah, yeah,
The bad is defining what we perceive to be is real. When
yeah,
in reality, if you step back, a step away from it, and you just live your day-to-day life, how often are you exposed to all the shit that you're seeing on social media and on the news?
exactly,
How often are you
exactly,
really exposed to it? How often? You're not. Usually you
exactly,
go out through your day, you meet great people, you have a good time, you're laughing, you're meeting new people, you're learning about new people. Somebody opens the door for you. The
right,
smallest little things. Usually your day-to-day life is not the doom and gloom that the social media and the mainstream media is showing
right,
you
right,
all the time.
right, which is where we come in, where it's like, all right, well, let's give you guys something to see now. If you want to find the good, then we got you. It's really good. Like,
It
we're going to show you guys that it's really good. That's where, the idea of the show came from, like the really good show, because it's not all bad. There's a lot of good people out there, including yourself, that are doing incredible things, that want to help people. This is the kind of environment that we know exists. Let's push this out. Let's get this out there. And with this kind of platform, I didn't think it was going to turn into, saving anybody. And I said it from the very beginning, if my story, just my story alone, never mind the perspectives from everybody else, never mind my co-host, if just the things that I've said alone help somebody else, even if it's one single person, then I've done my job. Completely happy with that. I can walk away, whether I get paid $0 or $1 million for this, I can walk away successful because I saved one single person. And in doing that, and that, just, not unlike yourself, that genuine message, that genuine sentiment, when it gets out there, people understand that, people can feel that. And, doing these live streams, when you look at them, when I look at them, they can see that we've seen some shit. And it's that certain look in somebody's eye when the person that you're staring at has seen some shit. And that genuine look, that earnest, I've seen some shit look, is unmistakable. And the people that are hurting, the people that are down, the people that are in that darkness, they can relate to it, they can feel it, and it becomes easier for them to open up. It becomes easier for them to feel safe in an environment where they know, all right, this person is not just phoning it in. This person is not just doing it because they have a podcast. Like, dude, no bullshit. I barely promote my show when I go on lives.
I'm
I
barely promoting it now as
Yeah,
well. At first, shit. So on TikTok, if anybody listening that doesn't know, you can't go live until you have at least 1,000 family members, 1,000
right.
people following you on your
Hmm.
account, right? So you can't even go live until then. So a lot of my early content was just sharing the job, sharing ideas,
Mhm.
I was sharing my journey in my mental health and getting better. And when I started sharing that, it became, it becomes growing. And then you can go live. Well, when I started going live, it's by that time, my story and my journey had become such a topic of discussion that when my first live, I I didn't talk about the podcast. I
Yeah.
didn't. I was like, oh yeah, by the way, I do have a podcast, but we're talking about this, we're talking about that, we're
Right.
we're enjoying it. I'm saying hi. And it's become now for me when I go live, it's my mission when I go live now is just to put a smile on somebody's face.
Yeah.
Whether it be being goofy, dancing
Mhm.
around, doing a little flirt, oh babe, bro
Yeah,
boo,
yeah.
stuff like that. It
The
to put
bro
a
boo.
bro boo, it's to put a smile on people's face. Yeah, and for me, it's a therapy because I'm able to relax. I love to dance. I get to dance in front of the people, and people are enjoying it, and it's putting a smile on people's faces. And the fact that me being me, I'm not acting. I'm not. I don't have a shtick. I don't.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
not. It's not.
Exactly.
It's just me being me.
It's that genuine nature that people relate to, that people can gravitate to. And again, it's, not to sound like all fucking PC and cheesy, but it's that safe space. It's that safe haven. They know they can come there and be like themselves. They can relax with you. They can chat with you. It's the vibe that we bring to the table. And I'll say we, because we do this shit every day pretty much. And it's
Every day,
and
every day.
it's
Yep.
and it's become not only something that we do, but it's become something that other people are looking forward to. So now people are popping in there, like when you show up live, you're not just sitting in there for an hour with 3 people. It's now multiple people popping in. It's people that you see all the time. Then it's new people that wander into it and say hi, and then they don't know what you do. Like when I put out that ominous video, my first like 7 lives were literally everybody popping in asking, well, what did I see that video for? What am I here to talk about? Please let me know. Everybody was clamoring for it. So I had like 80 people on a live one day, and I'm like, all right, I got you. I was like doing it in segments. I was like, look, I got you. The reason why I did this is because I just have a few simple messages. If people can hate for no reason, then I can love for no reason. And I love you guys. I want you to know that you're not alone, that you're seen, you're heard, and there's somebody out here who is now in your corner that wants to see you win at life. Not only win at life, but win at being happy, because I believe happiness is the key to that. And you now have somebody actively rooting for you that wants to see you do well. If you never had anybody in your life to say that they're proud of you, guess what? 2 thumbs,
Right
this
here.
guy. I'm
Right
here
here.
for it. I'm here for it. If you want positive vibes all day, reinforcement and encouragement, this guy. I got you all
And
day,
we're
every day.
and you have to know we're not just saying it to fucking say it. Like
Yeah, I
we
literally,
truly believe the
yeah,
words that we speak,
yeah,
the
I without
ideas
a
that we're
shadow of a
sharing.
doubt, without a shadow of a doubt, would not put out a statement or a message that I didn't wholeheartedly believe in, because I feel like words have that gravity, words have that power. And if you're gonna be about your shit, and you can't just walk around like it, you and talk like it, you
You got to
actually have
be
to
it.
live that. You have to live that. You could say a bunch of nice things. You can do a bunch of nice things. But if you're not living that, if you're not day in and day out the person that you say you are, it's gonna come to the surface, and people are gonna expose that.
Yeah,
And
if
people
you're
are gonna,
only doing it when you're on fucking live or you're making a video,
yeah,
somebody's going to find out. You
yeah,
will be outed.
yeah.
You will fuck.
You're gonna get exposed for the bullshit.
Yeah,
Especially
absolutely.
now with social media. You know what I mean? Like there are trolls, there are vultures on
Oh
social
my
media.
god.
They will pick you the fuck
Fuck
apart.
apart.
So yeah,
Exactly.
if you're not gonna be genuine, if there's a disingenuous nature to what you're doing, if you're doing it for clout or fame or for fucking money, you're gonna get exposed. They're gonna see that. And thankfully for guys like me and you, we don't have that concern,
I
because
don't
if you
have that
become,
worry at all.
yeah,
I don't have that worry at all.
I have zero fucks given about it. I do what I do. I am completely honest when I'm at work and I'm on my live stream, or when I'm here on my live stream. You guys are seeing me in my rawness. This is why I am the way I am on my podcast. I'm 100% me. You're getting me, and I've said this for such a long time, but it still rings true to this day. I am the same motherfucker when my feet hit the floor in the morning, till my head hits the pillow in the evening. I am the same person all goddamn day.
Same here, man.
All
Same here.
goddamn day. I'm
It
silly. I'm dorky. I'm funny. I'm also really cool. I'm smart. Yeah.
you guys, you can see his humbleness is not lost on him at
Oh
all.
yes. If you guys were searching for a lack of confidence, you didn't find it in me.
No, man. Look, if you
That's
have a
yeah.
message to share, and that message, be the best you can be, and be confident in who you are,
Yes. Yes.
because it's who you are. Fucking, you better be able to be confident in who you are, John.
Yeah, exactly.
I better be fucking confident in who I am. I'm 100% confident knowing that I'm battling with certain things. I'm 100%
Hmm.
confident in knowing that I don't think there's anything wrong with the fact that I'm battling these things, right?
Right.
So
Absolutely.
if I'm going to preach that and I'm going to tell people, hey, it's okay to not be okay. It's just not okay to
Absolutely.
stay there.
Yeah.
Let me show you when I'm not okay. You're
Yeah.
not always going to get me when I'm at my fucking highest. You're
Yeah.
not.
Because it's so unrealistic.
It's
You're not, and we've talked about this on the podcast before. You're gonna be at 100 some days. Some days are gonna be fucking 25. You know what I mean? Like you
right.
cannot keep it at 100 every single day. But the mind state to know that you're gonna get back to 100 is where keeping it 100 becomes like my thing. It's you're gonna have your bad days. You're gonna have your okay days. You're gonna have your good days. You're gonna have your great days. But just always remember throughout, regardless of that spectrum, remember that there's a way back to the great as long as you're actively willing to be receptive of that and try. The minute you start to give up, the minute you start to doubt yourself and thinking that you're powerless, that's when you sink into those dark places. And this where guys like us come in and we're like, you know what? No, we're gonna pick you up. We're gonna dust your crown off. We're gonna straighten that back on your head and remind you who the fuck you are. You are powerful, you are strong, and you can do this.
And along those lines, I think a lot of it too is people fall into this idea that they need something else outside of themselves
Yes.
to believe it, right?
Yes.
They need those people to reach out to them to ask if they're okay. They need people, and I'm using need in quotations, okay?
Mm-hmm.
They need somebody to love them, to make them feel loved of themselves. You guys need to get rid of that word need.
Yep.
That word need, no, you need air, water, food, and shelter to live. That's all you
Facts.
need.
Facts.
What you want, what you want somebody to love you because it helps you feel better about yourself.
Right.
But if you tie your happiness to anyone or anything, like you need or you want somebody to do this so you can feel a certain way, nah, it ain't
Right.
gonna work. You're gonna be disappointed your entire fucking life. That car is going to
Exactly.
break down. That person's going to upset you. That person's going to do something that's going to upset you. And then now what? Now what?
Mm-hmm.
That person
Mm-hmm.
might stop loving you the way they did at the beginning of the relationship.
Yeah,
Now what? Are you going to
like
think anything less of yourself now?
yeah, like that code when I talk about that codependent relationship where it's like people need that other person, like, oh well, this person makes me happy. That's great that they can upkeep your happiness,
Yeah.
but they shouldn't be the one to make you
Make
happy.
you happy. No,
And I said that on a daily motivation, like that's your responsibility.
exactly.
It's your
Exactly.
happiness is your responsibility. And my co-host would say it all the time, if you can't keep your cup full, how are you supposed to spill it out and fill anybody else's? It has to start here. And it's one of the things that I talk about so often. It's that self-love. It starts here. It starts right in here. Once you're good and centered within yourself and you feel that you can make yourself the best version of you, yourself the happiest version of you, and you loving yourself more than anybody else could, because that's what you need to be doing, then you can go out and have that other person to attribute to your happiness. You
And
know,
realize that when that happens, you're making that choice.
yes,
Look,
it's
I'll tell you what, John. For me, really realizing the difference between the choice and the need made me realize that I appreciate being chosen to be in somebody's life so much more than feeling needed. Because if I was needed, then I feel like more of an obligation.
right.
I feel more like I have to. I feel more, there's no freedom in that,
Yeah,
right? There's no freedom in that. But when
which
somebody
is
chooses me, they chose me, meaning they are 100% fine with themselves. They don't need me in their life to be happy.
yeah,
but they choose to have me in their life because I help with that happiness. I'm a choice. Out of 7 billion people in this world, somebody chose me
Right.
to be part of their happiness. And
And
when I'm
it's
good 110%, I choose the people in my life that help me with that happiness.
and it's one of those things where I think it's part of the human experience itself. We by nature, we're not built to be alone. It's not what we're supposed to be doing. That's why there's significant others. That's why there's friends. That's why there's family. That's why there's communities, because we were not made to be alone. But in being alone, you have to find happiness in that. You have to be completely centered in being alone, because the minute you start to depend on other people for that, then you're losing a bit of yourself. And I think that's where the misconception comes in. Like, people are going to walk out of your life, and there's obviously a real aspect of heartbreak, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that is their choice. Their choice is to stay in your life. There's nothing you could do or could have done or will do to make somebody stay in your life. It is completely 100% up to them. And it sucks, right? The reality of that sucks. It sucks that somebody that you love more than anything else in the world could pick up one day and say, you know what? It's been
I
nice,
I
but
don't
I'm done
choose you
here.
anymore. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
but
choose
but
you
I,
anymore.
but I'm done here. Have a nice day. Forget about
Right,
it.
right. Forget about it.
You know what
Forget
I'm saying?
about
So
it.
like
Yeah.
it sucks. That reality sucks, but it is a reality. So that's what I harp on that topic of self-love so much, because you have to have that no matter who comes and goes in your life, you still got to deal with you. You still got to be the best version of you, because the only person that you're guaranteed to spend every waking moment with is
Is
you.
yourself. Yeah, exactly.
you
Exactly.
you got to deal with you, so you know all your faults, you know all your strengths. Work on the things that you feel like you need to work on, and amplify the things that you're already good at, and that'll make you feel incredibly powerful.
I agree 110%. I agree wholeheartedly. And the fact that we both have the same idea
Which is
and
what brought us to this dance in the first place. It's what got us
right.
to this bromance. Like it's fucking kismet. I fucking love this guy. He's great.
Yeah, man, like I don't know what it was. Renee, said, "Hey, you need to check out this guy's live." And I jumped in on your live. I'm like, "Hey, Renee sent me. What's up?" You started talking, and I just saw. For me, this is going to sound very, hashtag no homo. Uh,
It's a hashtag
for me,
no.
for me, it was that fucking smile of yours, brother. Like you can tell it was genuine. You can
Yeah.
tell you were actually being a genuine, happy human being and sharing your idea and sharing the positivity on your live.
Oh, thank you,
Like when
brother.
you saw that smile, you knew it wasn't fake. You knew it wasn't forced. When somebody commented and when you replied, you can tell that, holy shit, this guy's being fucking genuine right now. Look at
I
that smile
appreciate
on
that.
his face. He's smiling for them, but not only is he smiling for them, he's smiling for himself. Like he's doing something that's making him feel good, and in that process is making others feel good. That's genuine. It's not
Yeah.
forced.
And
And
it's kind of the retrospect to when I hopped in your live for the first time, and I saw the smile that you had from when you were dancing, and people were commenting, and you
yeah,
get that shy bashful
yeah,
babe, and it was
babe.
like you could see it, like this dude is about his shit. He really is. He's living this. You know what I mean? Like this is him. He's okay to be silly. He's okay with being authentically himself. And I feel like at this age for myself, these are like literally the only people that I gravitate to at this point. I don't attract any kind of other person in this world. I attract people who are already authentically themselves. People who aren't trying to put on a facade, who aren't trying to put on this fucking cape or mask, whatever, you know, I'm
I
losing the
think we,
fucking
yeah, no, I
uh
think we're also attracting those that are looking for it as well.
yeah, but I like that the metaphor, like whatever
Yeah, yeah,
metaphor
yeah,
you
yeah.
want to find for that, it's I'm only attracting people who are authentically themselves. And
Or
for
searching to be, or searching for the
or
strength to
wanting
be.
to be, right,
Yeah,
right, or
yeah,
wanting to be. And I think there's a power in that. I think there's a real strength that started here. Like it took me to get to this point for me to gravitate that energy out into the universe. It was a lot of it because of my wife. You know, she's kind of been like the savior to my soul, an absolute complete savior to my soul. But it started from there, and it's like getting this energy out into the universe. It's only brought more of that back, and you know, I'm fortunate and blessed to be able to have the amount of people that I do have in my life, and you guys know who you are. But like that amount of love, it's you can't manufacture it, you can't make it, you can't force it.
You
It
can't
has
fake it. That's for damn
yeah,
sure.
it has become organically it what it is, and I can count my blessings every day, all day, that I'm able to do it. And with our platforms, now that we're able to be who we are and do it for other people and make them feel powerful, make them empowered and encouraged and motivated to do the things that we want to see. Like you always say, you know, be the change that you want to see in the world, be that random act of kindness, be that better light in the world. It's it's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful what we've been doing.
Man, just hearing you talk, I'm like, holy fuck, we have way too much in common. Uh,
It's ridiculous. It's
well, like
ridiculous.
my wife, if it wasn't for my wife, if it wasn't for her, I I probably wouldn't have had the strength or have found the strength to really see who I really was, right? She helped guide me. Obviously, I made the final decision to do it, but
Mhm.
she fought and she pushed to to have me really see who I really am. And if it wasn't for her, who knows where I'd be in my life right now. She has opened my
Exactly.
eyes to so many things. She definitely gets a hell of a lot of credit in helping me make the decision to get to this space where I'm at now.
Absolutely.
And I
Absolutely. And
cannot thank her enough for it.
it's what I say, it's the attitude of gratitude.
Yes, sir.
It's
Yes,
the
sir.
attitude of gratitude. I am completely grateful for all the things that I have done. Even all the things I've been through. I'm completely grateful for all of it. I think there's a level of acceptance in it, right? So, you know, my background is tumultuous to say the least. And the things that brought me to the dance right now, like I wouldn't be able to connect with people on that level, I think, had I not been through the fire. And I think the same goes for you. Like you wouldn't be people wouldn't gravitate to you if they felt like, well, you're just some guy that's never dealt with any really serious problems. You know, like they wouldn't be able to gravitate you had you
Right.
never been through anything serious. Like,
Right. Right.
but
Right. Right.
but that's obviously not the case. You know, we have that unique look in our eyes where seeing some shit,
Yeah.
and it's pretty fucking
Yeah.
obvious for
You can't
anybody
fucking,
who's
you
yeah.
cannot fake that look,
you
man.
can't you can't manufacture that. And it's funny because the first person that told me that was my co-host. He's also a photographer on a freelance, and he posted on Facebook one day. He's like, oh, if anybody's in the area and wants to do a quick photo shoot. And I was like, whatever. Jokingly I said, yeah. I'll do it. I'm just keeping my clothes on. I was like, so don't make it weird, bro. and
Don't make
he's
this
like
weird.
he's like, no, we're just gonna go out in the the town, and we'll just pop around a couple of sites that I like to shoot at, and we'll take some pictures. So I was like, you know what, fuck it. I'm leaving work. I head over there. I was getting a haircut in the area back in the days that I had hair. Um,
I know the feeling, man.
you know what I'm
I know
saying?
the feeling.
There's
Yeah,
baldness going on
there's
here.
baldness going on here. Hence the
so
hats.
so when I did that, I popped over there and he started doing, a couple of shots, and like he was like, yo, dude, just like he's like, don't give me any expression. He's like, just look at the camera. Don't think about anything. Clear your mind. Just look straight away. And I was like, all right. So I looked and I was exhausted. I'd been up from like 5 a.m. So I was a little tired, and you could see that in my eyes and some of the photos. But he looked at it and he goes, dude, you've got like such a soullessness in your eyes right now. Like he's like, there's something about when I see this picture, he's like, I feel like you're looking through me right now. He's like, you look like somebody who's seen some shit. And it's the first time I had heard it. And I've always known that that's, my look. Cause you look in the mirror all the time, you can see your face. I've always felt I had that look, but I've never heard it actually, said to me. So when I heard that, I was like, damn, you're fucking right, bro. I mean,
You thought you were good at hiding it.
yeah. I thought I was doing a pretty good job at masking that, but apparently it is not a thing.
No,
I guess it's something you can't hide, which is cool because in taking that, it might sound like such a negative thing, but in taking that idea and doing what we do now, it's become possibly the most powerful thing about us, is that look, is that
yeah.
sincerity, is that genuine nature. And again, like the attitude of gratitude, I'm completely blessed and grateful that we've gone through everything, and to use your moniker, what makes us fire, what made us fire brought us to this dance. And what we're able to do now is just proof that we're on the right path. And like everything you're doing with the NPO and will do in the future undoubtedly will help a lot of people. And
Well,
we've helped a bunch as it is.
well, I'm asking you to be a part of this, right? At
Yeah.
some point in time, you are going to be a part of this. I have an idea with part of the foundation to create a motivational type of event where we have people like ourselves will do either like a weekend convention or something for
I'm
people that are
I'm so with
looking,
it.
yeah, that for people that are looking to hear the stories, a whole bunch of different stories. So hopefully they find that promise or that passion or that strength to start doing it for themselves, right?
Oh
You'd be
hell yeah.
surprised how many people want to learn from other people's experiences. This
They
person
do.
came from this story. They came from probably the lowest of the lows in their life, and here they are now. Look at
Well,
what
because
they're accomplishing.
everybody loves an underdog story, right?
That's true.
Everybody loves the Cinderella story. You come from rags and then you make it out on the other side and look who you are now. I mean, guaranteed there's a lot of people that would go back and see the things that, I had been through, or just like the previous interview that I just put out, my buddy Rob, the things that he'd been through, and then count us out. Like, there's no way you're going to make it out of something like that. That's fucking crazy. But here we are years later, striving, thriving, and even now helping others get get out of the pit and get out of that darkness. It's like people love that story. People
all
love that
all
idea that
while
there's a
all while we're still building ourselves up as well,
yeah,
which is
all while
crazy.
all while still figuring the shit out,
Yeah,
because
exactly.
we're
We're
still
still trying to figure this
yeah.
shit out for ourselves, but in
I'm
the
telling you,
process, we're like, it's crazy,
it's
man. It's so unbelievably insane.
we could literally just be having these conversations with ourselves in the mirror and it'd be a whole podcast.
No
It's
shit. No
we're the same
shit,
fucking
dude.
guy.
Oh my God.
It's fucking
Speaking of
crazy.
which, I know we can probably talk for fucking 4 or 5 hours straight.
We really could.
However, brother, um, for my podcast, I usually start winding it down
Yeah,
with
yeah.
about
It's a
three
good
questions.
it's a good part of the day to start dwindling, because
Okay.
I actually have to physically eat breakfast. I have yet to eat breakfast, people.
Uh,
This is the
Ditto.
dedication that I have to you guys.
Oh no, like I came home from a 48-hour shift, took a shower, set my computer up, and here we are. I haven't eaten. I've had fucking energy drinks and water.
Nice. I saw you munching on the Twizzler. I was jealous.
Yeah. I was munching on a Twizzler
I was
too.
eyeballing the shit out of that Twizzler.
Oh, okay. So first things first.
Go.
There's two certain people that I said we would mention on the show,
Mhm.
and I'm going to mention them now because if we didn't, part of our bromance was kind of fighting over these two. All right,
Go
Jenna,
for it. Jenna. Yeah.
Jenna, if you're
Right.
listening, hey girl, hey,
Right.
and then Boom Fit, Elizabeth.
Well, that one was more recent. That one was more
That
recent.
was really recent, but I
And
said
that
we
was
were going to say her name on the show.
but we that wasn't much of a fight. That was just us being us, and we were just being silly and kind of like hyping someone else up on that aspect. So
Okay. Well,
I'm
no,
pretty
no,
sure
no,
most of
no,
that
no, no, no,
was
no, no, no. Don't say that now, because when we were on the live, it totally looked like you were ready to take her from me, bro. Don't even
no,
lie.
well, that was, I thought that's what we do. I thought that's what we do. I thought that was what I thought it was like an unspoken agreement in there where we fight over a girl and it kind of boosts their energy up. It kind of makes them feel good. I thought
Well,
that was the
and
incentive behind doing it.
well, not
With
only that, but
with
it is
barring Jenna,
true though
because
too.
you try to sabotage me on that one, but no.
No, 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 no. No, man, no. look, we don't just do it just for that. Obviously, we do think and care about them, right?
Yeah, no,
Anybody,
and
it's
and
not
and
just for that reason.
yeah, no, and also I think it's also universally understood. We're both married. We do this and we're flirt silly and stuff like that because it's just nice to be nice. It's just nice to be nice, chimichanga. Um
Jesus Christ. Oh man, dude, what the hell?
This is why
When...
we're so ridiculous and great together.
All right. So seriously, I'm gonna start closing down at least
Go
my
ahead.
end. All right.
Go, go,
I
go.
start with three questions. The
Shoot.
first one actually I can probably disregard because I was gonna say, hey, you're John, you have a podcast, but you're interviewing yourself. Actually, I can still ask it. Say you're on the really good show, but you're interviewing John, right?
Okay.
You're interviewing yourself. What's the one question and or piece of information you would have shared that maybe we didn't get to?
Um, I don't think there's much that we didn't get to yet, but if there's a time to talk about anything, I would think the mental health aspect would be one of them. And it's just to make sure that people know that it's not only people who are struggling with mental health. Mental health as a whole is important for every single living man, woman, and child. It is not something that can be disregarded that's outside of yourself. It's not something that you can write off that pertains to a particular group of people. No one has the mantle of pain, right? No one can say, oh, well, I have the most pain and everything else outside of that doesn't really matter. Everybody's pain is different. Everybody's pain is unique to them. And what might not be serious to you may be detrimental and excruciatingly painful for somebody else. And we all manage and handle things differently. But that's not to say that mental health isn't something that is universally understood is necessary. You need good mental health. Whether or not you're able to cope with it better than others, it really doesn't matter. Some people can dunk a basketball, some people can kick a soccer ball, but it doesn't mean that any one person has a handle on it better than anybody else. Some people are just able to cope with it better.
That's all it is. And I don't really have anything else even to add to that because you kind of covered it all. It matters to everybody,
Every single
every
person.
single person, every single person,
No one is
and
exempt.
no one. And your situation is not better or worse than somebody else's situation. It's
Yeah,
just different.
everybody's unique experience is exactly that. It's unique. It's
It's
unique.
unique. It's
What
just
matters,
different.
yeah, what matters to you matters definitely to you.
Exactly. And I think we need to remember that and we need to stop saying, oh, well, I'm stressed, but this person has this happening to them, so I feel guilty about stressing about this. No, 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 no. This person has this happening to them. That's their thing. You are still stressed about this. Don't disregard that. Don't
Yes.
disregard that because if you do,
Yes.
you're going to start quote unquote trying to keep up with the Joneses on your mental health. And trust me, it ain't going to work.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
not going to work.
It's one of those things I say so often, which is don't devalue your feelings. Your
Exactly.
feelings are yours and you're allowed to have them, and no one should make you feel diminished by it.
And don't allow how you feel to dictate how you think you are or who you think you are. Just because you're
Facts.
feeling sad doesn't mean you are a sad person.
Right.
Don't let it dictate who you are.
Yeah.
It's just how you feel. That's all it is.
Very well said. Part two, go.
Second question. You got any questions for me that we haven't hit on, man? Very simple.
Um, a question for you. What do you think what do you think the best part of what you do in your actual workplace, like as a firefighter, what do you think the best part of it is?
That one would be simple, and that would be fighting the fire. For me, getting into a house with the fire rolling over our head. Look, we're wearing bunker gear, we have our masks on, and even though we see fire, we don't automatically spray water all the time.
Hmm.
Sometimes we literally have to crawl under the fire, through the smoke, through the heat before we even put a drop of water on the damn fire because there's a whole bunch of science behind it, but you got to hit the seat of the fire if you really want to make the biggest difference.
Well, yeah, because there's different types of fire. So,
Right. Anything else, you can be disturbing a thermal layer. You can be there's like I said, there's a whole bunch of science and stuff behind it. But when you're in that space, when you're crawling down a hall, and you got fire rolling over your head, it's the most peaceful, chaotic, scared to death, but so peaceful thing. I can't explain it. It's hard to explain, man.
I
I
know
can't.
what you mean.
For me, being in that and then fighting the fire, being able to break shit to put the fire out. I mean, man, I get to bust through walls. I get to cut holes on ceilings. I get to climb on roofs. I get to be in fire. I get to squirt water 200 gallons a minute. I can do so much. So for me, the best part of the job is fighting the fire. I know a lot of people are going to say, why isn't it the helping people aspect? Me fighting the fire is helping somebody. Hopefully we can put the fire out quick enough that they don't lose everything, and
Yeah.
or we find somebody that's trapped, or all that is part of it. But if I concentrated on the emotional human aspect of it all the time, it'd be really hard to do the job for me,
Yeah. That
because
makes a lot of sense.
like I said before, we're seeing people on the worst day of their lives. They are experiencing a tragedy that they might not ever experience another tragedy their entire life. So, yes, I am very grateful that I am part of helping somebody and
Hmm.
hopefully mitigating a situation, whatever the case may be. But the actual job aspect in fighting the fire, doing that work for me, because then I know my efforts in the long run are going to help.
Right.
So, but that's it for me.
That's, there you go.
Give me 1 second, man. For whatever reason, my nose started bleeding.
Oh man, that happens to me
1 second.
too. Ugh. I am uncomfortable, you guys. I gotta stand. It's been sitting here for like an hour.
I don't even care, man. We're gonna
Dude,
finish the episode like this.
you know what's crazy about that? When
What's
we were
that?
circling back to how similar we are. When I get too hot, my nose also bleeds.
That's exactly what it is. I'm extremely warm right now, and it's just
Yes, dude. See, it's
that
fucking
that's
ridiculous.
that's
It's
creepy.
ridiculous. It's not no bullshit. It literally had a nosebleed yesterday because of that. I got too hot in the house. My nose got freaking stuffed, and then all of a sudden, fucking
Yeah,
faucet.
at first I was like stuffy, and then I was like, oh
Yeah.
crap, here it
Yep.
comes.
Yep. We're literally like the same guy, except you're a
Jesus
firefighter.
Christ.
All right.
Anyway, so the last
Part three.
question, man.
Part three.
last question. Fuck, that's gonna be funny on the episode. And anybody watching on YouTube, you're gonna see my left nostril looks extremely massive right now. My last question, brother, is on my part of the show, What Makes Us Fire podcast.
Hmm.
A lot of people like listening to the show because they think they know they're listening to people that can kind of give them an idea of the kind of people that make up this line of work, that make up civil service, that make
Hmm.
up firefighters, cops, EMTs, right? The civil service realm.
Hmm.
But for my guests, I like to think of it more as a question. Now, obviously, you do not directly work in a public service sector.
Right.
In that you're not a cop, a firefighter, EMT,
Right.
or
Right. Right.
dispatcher, right? However, you have found a way to become a civil servant in that you are sharing a part of you in the hopes that it helps others. And
Hmm.
that's a civil servant. That's what a civil servant is.
Hmm.
They serve civilization, they serve their community. They chose to make a sacrifice of themselves, whether it be time, money, effort, emotion, whatever. They chose to make a sacrifice of themselves to, in hopes, help somebody else, right?
Right.
So, my question to you is, what do you think it is that allows people to do that?
I think when it comes down to it, it's a strong sense of morality. I think it's a strong sense of humanity in everybody. The people that have that sense of humanity in them, know that there's things that need to be done, knows that there is ways to help us progress and move forward and live harmoniously, and want to actively see that. I think that's where it comes from mostly, because you can come from a military family and not go into the military, such as yourself. um you know, you can have these things presented to you and still not do it. But then, like, just like your own road, where you actively made the choice to do it, and then was like, fuck, I love doing this is what I was born to do. I think in that sense, all the things that have made me who I am now is exactly that. Like, I love doing this. I love being able to help people. I love being able to be that light in the darkness, and say, like, look, I got you. And when I say I got you, it's genuine, it's happening, because this is what I love to do. I don't do this for money. I actually legitimately don't get paid for this. I do it because I know that the world needs more of this. And as a human, because fuck race, fuck religion, fuck everything that has been meant to divide us, I think as a fucking human, this is what we should be doing. We should want to see other people win. We should want to see other people happy. We should want to help other people when they're down. And if you have the knowledge and the time and the energy to do so, to not do so shows a bit of moral bankruptcy. And I think that's what, the majority of what I do comes into place, is that I probably have spent so much time being on that other side of the scale, where, and I've said this multiple times, I'm still, as much good as I've done, I'm still tipping the scales back to even from all the bad that I've done in my life. So once I get back to even, then I'll feel a little more satisfied with what I've done so far. But until I personally feel like I've done enough to make it even, I'm going to be that much more adamant on doing it. And once I tip the scales back to even, it's going to feel just that much greater when I start doing it, just to keep the good flowing.
It's interesting that you pointed it to morality, and then you even broke it down between moral backgrounds, right? Where do we get our moral backgrounds? It's either from the
Mm-hmm.
environment we live in, religion, culture, whatever. But you took that all away and you broke it down all the way down, human being.
Yes, because
we're human beings.
Exactly.
So I don't know how, but we found that the morality of just being a human being was worth it.
Yeah.
Because you're a human being, you're worth it.
Absolutely.
Now, if you're a shitty human being, that's different. That means your morals are lying in somewhere else that they don't belong.
Yeah.
But because you're a human being, and if you believe you're put on this earth for any reason other than to be not only good for yourself, but for somebody else, then you deserve it.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
You're worthy.
Absolutely. And look, again, like I said, when I break it all down, it's just be good to yourself. Just be good to other people. Not only is it scientifically proven to make you feel better, but it actually legitimately does. It's just nice to be nice.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a selfishness in it, if you want to call it that, in that when you do perform a good deed, or you do find out that what you did helped somebody else, it does help you feel
it does
good.
make you feel good. But I mean, that's the science behind it. That's why I wouldn't even call it selfish. That's literally the science behind it. It's the oxytocin, it's the serotonin in your body, that chemical balance of doing good actually releases the good chemicals in your body to make you feel good.
Exactly. But we do it because we know we do it for multiple reasons, but when it happens, we know that feeling's going to come. And so we're like, well, let's just continue doing it. Not only for this reason, but because for this reason too.
Yeah.
So like, it'd be really hard to continue doing what we do if after somebody says, hey, thank you so much, you helped me, we still felt like shit ourselves.
Yeah.
Right?
It was
That'd be
just like,
really
yeah,
hard.
whatever. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
Dude.
whatever. You're welcome.
I'm glad
you
helped
feel
you.
better.
Right? Yeah.
I'm glad I helped you feel better. I'm over
Yeah.
here still fucked up, but
Yeah,
you're welcome.
I'm glad you're okay, because fuck me, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Right. But it don't work
But
that
no.
way.
But no, it doesn't. It's again, it's that genuine nature that we bring to the table, which is what makes it so awesome. And
Absolutely. Absolutely.
it's literally the good we do in this world, guys. It's been great today. Me and Josh has been at it for an hours and hours, and we want you guys to take a reprieve from listening to us banter over and over. We're probably gonna end up doing this again because this is not the end. This is
Oh,
not
absolutely
the end.
not. We got to
We've
definitely dive in a little bit more into
Yeah.
your background, and of course into mine. We'll share a little bit more of our
Yeah.
stories with our respective families a little bit more later on.
This is more of a casual conversation between two guys that just want to make sure that everybody listening knows that what we do is for every single one of you, and not only do we love to do it, but we are glad to do it.
Absolutely. We wouldn't do it if we didn't want to. We're not those type of people. That's for damn sure.
Exactly.
Well,
But brother, it's been great. I always wrap up my show with one tagline, which is stay safe, happy, and healthy. Peace.
all right. And John, brother, I want to say thank you again for coming on to What Makes Us Fire. What Makes Us Fire Family. Get out there, have fun, stay safe, show some love and peace out in the world. You never know who's going to need it. You never know if you'll be the one to make the difference. And just like him and I just literally got done saying, being the one to make the difference feels pretty fucking good.
Hell yeah. Josh,
Let's be the change of the world.
It's been great to talk to you, brother. We'll definitely talk again soon, which is not a regurgitated statement. We definitely will talk. We have
for sure.
We have each other's number now. We're all in, man. Brother,
All
be
in, brother.
safe. Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll talk soon.
All right, brother. Take it easy, man. Peace. All right, What Makes Us Fire Family. That was John, host of The Really Good Show. Go check him out. If you're on TikTok or on Instagram, go follow him with the tag at The Really Good Show. I told you John was going to be a pretty inspirational person. He's humbled himself in a way that when people listen to it, kind of think, all right, this guy's pretty sure of himself. But you know what? He is. He is sure of himself. But he's sure of himself in a good way. He's so sure of himself, he knows he's here to help people. Not that bad kind of sure of yourself. Not that kind that thinks he shits gold. I really appreciate John for the friendship that he's allowed me to create with him and for being part of the What Makes Us Fire family. John, brother, thank you again for coming on the show. Thank you for allowing me to do a dual cast with you. Thank you for being you, brother. What Makes Us Fire family, please remember to continue following us and listening and sharing on all your social media platforms with the tag at What Makes Us Fire on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and of course, Snapchat. Also, we are on YouTube. So if you want to see the pretty faces behind the okay voices, please go check out the YouTube channel. That is What Makes Us Fire, one word, space podcast. And please like, subscribe, leave reviews. All that stuff helps the show grow and helps the message grow. Also, if you need to reach me personally, the email you can reach me at is whatmakesusfire@yahoo.com. Also, What Makes Us Fire family. This podcast has turned into something else. We are now known as the What Makes Us Fire Foundation, a charity dedicated to helping first responders, civil service members, active and retired military veterans, and members in getting financial assistance for inpatient mental health. So, you guys, we did it. We're in the process. We're making it happen. This show can use your help. The What Makes Us Fire Foundation can use your help. We have a Cash App that you can donate to. If you're listening on Buzzsprout, there is a Help the Show button. If not, if you have Cash App, $, What Makes Us Fire, all one word. Pretty simple, you guys. Every cent counts. Every cent helps. It will be greatly appreciated. Last but not least, if you need help, reach out. The National Suicide Prevention Hotline is free, 100% confidential, and can be 100% anonymous if you need it to be. The number is 1-800-273-8255. Again, the number is 1-800-273-8255. If you need the help, start the conversation. Talk it out. If calling doesn't work for you, please visit suicidepreventionlifeline.org, where you will find a multitude of resources in helping you on your journey to getting mental clarity and getting the help you need. What Makes Us Fire family, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for supporting the What Makes Us Fire podcast and the What Makes Us Fire Foundation. Get out there, have fun, stay safe. Show some love and peace out in this world, because we never know who might need it. And you never know if you might be the one to make the difference. And just like at the end of the interview with John, it feels really damn good being that difference. Let's be the change we want to see in this world, guys. Peace.